thought, seeing as I'm casting on for my second jewel spun ribbed hat, I thought that I would take you along for the ride. The first thing that I did, and I just did that before I started filming, is I just wound off this extra bit because I feel like I want the start of the hat to start with this blue, and there was just this tiny little bit of browny coloured yarn. So I've just wound that off. I'm going to keep it though, because I might need it when it comes to making pom-poms for these guys. And so I wanted to cast on with this blue. And so I thought that you could cast on with me. I have just done a slip knot and put it on the end, and sorry, not the end, the needle. What am I using? I think they're 4.5mm needles. I think before I'd said that they were 4, and they're 4.5. And I'm going to cast on 96 stitches. So I have got 96 stitches, and I don't know if you can see, but it's not massively blue. Let me hold it up a bit closer. But it has got this kind of blue tone running through it. So I quite like that. I quite like the fact that it has cast on with this sort of mauvey. Is it mauve or mauve? Mauve, I think. Anyway, so for this pattern, you cast on 96 stitches, and I'm just going to work the first round with you so that you can see how the pattern works and how I work up my first round. I don't join or anything because I don't find that I need to. I know that some people join these two stitches together, but I don't. I just go straight into, what is the pattern? It's knit one. Oh, I should have put a stitch marker in. Let me do that as well. I'll do that when I come back. Knit one and then purl one, but through the back loop, which is a bit tricky on the first. I don't know why, but it is always a bit tricky on the first round. Knit one, purl one through the back loop. My stitches don't want to knit one, purl one through the back loop, and you just continue like that around. then I need to get me a stitch marker. These are pretty little stitch markers. After this one in particular, this little round one. So he's going to mark the beginning of my round. That's in Emma's little tin. And so I'm going to pop that on there. And then I'm going to continue on. I just pull this first stitch fairly snug. All the stitches are nice and loose now. And what I do is, after I have just worked a couple of stitches on the first sort of proper round, I call it, rather than working on with those cast on stitches, I will just pull that tight and get a crochet hook and just sort of pull it through the next stitch along, just so it holds that bit together a little bit better. And then you just continue knitting just like this, knit one, purl one through the back loop. You just keep going until your work is about 25, perhaps 26 centimeters if you like your hat a bit longer, or you like your brim a bit deeper. I think the beauty of a ribbed hat is that you can make it, this is what the colours are working up like. You can make it look however you want it to look. So I like my hat to be fairly snug to my head, and I like to have a fairly wide brim. And yeah, but I think I went to 25 centimeters for this hat. 25 centimeters, is that right? Yeah, 25 centimeters. So that's it. You just keep going and going and going.
Eventually.
So when you have been knitting for 25 centimeters, which I have, happily sitting and knitting, you then need to get ready to do the decrease rounds. And I find it easier for the decrease rounds. There's 96 stitches, so I've divided the stitches into groups of 12 because we're going to work the decreases over the 12 stitches, and we're going to work one decrease round followed by one plain round, and we're going to do that for 6 decrease rounds. We're going to take our number of stitches from 96 to 68, and the way that we do that is we are going to work a slip slip knit to start, and then we work all other stitches as per the pattern. So knit one, purl through back loop. So that's the first section. Okay, and then for the second section, we're going to do knit 2 together. And then I think it's a knit next, isn't it? And then all of the other stitches as per pattern. So we're doing a slip, slip, knit in the first and a knit 2 together in the second, just because they're slightly different angles. Those 2 decrease stitches are slightly, where am I? I think I'm on a purl there. They're slightly different angles, and so it just doesn't, you don't end up with all of your, I mean, to be honest, because it's a gathered crown, you don't really see your decrease stitches anyway, because they're all gathered up into the crown. But so if you just wanted to do knit 2 togethers, then you can do that. Or if you just wanted to do slip, slip, knit, you can do that as well. But I've just done it like this, I think mainly because I originally I didn't know that the gathered crown would disguise all of the decreases anyway. So I wanted them to look a bit prettier. I think that's what I was trying to achieve. So they would sort of, where you have the decrease sections, they would kind of go in like that. The slip, slip, the slip, slip, no, I can't say it. The slip, slip knits go that way and the knit 2 togethers go that way. So I was hoping that we'd kind of get something like that. But actually, in the end, it worked out that it didn't really matter. It didn't really matter anyway. So just continue decreasing in that manner all the way around. So what we're doing on the rounds in between the decrease rounds is we will treat the decrease stitch always as a knit. So for this next round, we're going to be going knit, knit, purl through back loop, knit, purl through back loop. But on the round after that, these 2 stitches, the 2 knit stitches at the beginning of each repeat in this round, they're going to be knit together. So the following plain round will just be knit, purl through back loop, knit, purl through back loop. So for this round, we're going to say, we're going to slip our marker and we're going to go knit, knit, and then purl through back loop. So we're back at the beginning again, and so that's one full decrease round done. So one full decrease round is a decrease round followed by a plain round. And so now we're on to our second decrease round, and instead of having 12 stitches in each group, we have 11. And we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. So in the first repeat, we're going to slip, slip, knit these 2 first stitches, and then we're going to carry on in pattern. And the next stitch after that's going to be a purl this time. And then in the second repeat, we're going to knit 2 together and do exactly the same thing all the way around. So this is the slip, slip, knit decrease, and then we're going to slip the marker and do knit 2 together. Back loop, and that's the knit 2 together, decrease. So they're ever so slightly different, but like I said, it ends up not really making much of a difference. I think I just thought I needed to be fancier than I needed to be. So we continue in this fashion until we have got 48 stitches on our needles, and that is 6 decrease rounds. So this is what your hat should look like after you have been doing your decreases. I have just finished the last decrease, so you should have some of your decreases going this way and then others going that way. I just think it looks so lovely. But then the funny thing is, like I said before, it doesn't really matter because we're going to be gathering all these stitches in. So what I'm going to do for the final round, which is just a plain knit round. Oh, I've lost my beginning of round marker, which I need. So I'm going to do the final round, which is a straight round, so it's knit and then purl through back loop. There isn't a double knit on this round, and you should have 6 stitches in each of your repeat, your little repeat sections. But we're going to work our way round for the final round, and we're just going to work in pattern, and then you'll have to excuse my washing machine. I bet it goes to spin when I'm talking. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drop our stitch markers as we go around because we don't need them anymore. So we're just going round, doing our final round and dropping off all the markers. So we are done with the knitting. You can take your beginning of round marker out as well. And then what you need to do is cut a length of yarn. Needs to be long enough to go all the way around the hat, but actually you're pulling it tight, so it's not a huge big deal. And then all we're going to do is drop all of these stitches onto a yarn needle that you have threaded, and then just pull when you've got so many. So I'm dropping all of the live stitches onto a needle that is attached to the yarn, and we are at the end. So we've got all of our stitches on the thread and you've used the needle, and then you just need to pull that tight, and that is it. How fabulous. So much easier, isn't it? So I am going to, I think if you want to make it even tighter, because there's so many stitches, there should be 48 stitches, and I mean you can pull it fairly tight, but you just want to be careful you don't snap the yarn. You can sew through again just to make it even tighter, but I am just going to be putting my yarn through the center of the hat because I think I'm going to put a pom-pom on this hat, and I want to use the thread that's there to sew the pom-pom on. I'm going to do that next, and I will show you what that looks like. And you need to sew in the ends and everything, but I don't know what you think. I really love the way that the colours worked up in this version. I've got 2 versions. Where's the other one? This one doesn't have so much blue in it. but I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to pom-pom them now, and I hope that you've enjoyed making that pattern.